Something that you may or may not know is for people living with type 1 diabetes, the research shows that people have a higher propensity to develop anxiety. Think about it. You are with this condition 24/7, 365, no days off, no rest, no vacation, nothing. Welcome to the Your Diabetes Insider podcast, where we take all of the mysteries of blood sugar control, focusing on nutrition, exercise, and any of the other 40 plus factors that may impact your blood sugar. If you don't know me, my name is Ben Zeal. I'm a registered dietitian, certified diabetes educator, strength and conditioning coach, and I've lived myself with type 1 diabetes for over 20 years. And I am here to share everything that I have learned in both my personal and professional experience so you can live that incredible diabetes life. So get ready and let's dive right into today's episode. Something that comes up more often than I think people probably give credit for is that concept of, can you truly be happy as a person living with diabetes? There's a lot of people with diabetes who feel like they are cursed, or that they're just sad, or they're depressed, or, oh my God, how could this happen to me? I didn't do anything to deserve this. I don't understand why this is happening. This is so dumb, etc. And they fight it and they fight it and they fight the diagnosis, even though they know it's not going anywhere, if we're talking about type 1 for a minute. And it drives them crazy and sometimes sends them into this tailspin of despair that can take days or weeks, or in some cases, months or years to break out of. And I've gone in different Facebook groups. I'm a member of a ton of them that are for people with diabetes. And there are some groups where people just genuinely sound depressed all of the time. And it breaks my heart and it makes me feel for them. And something that you may or may not know is for people living with type 1 diabetes, the research shows that people have a higher propensity to develop anxiety. People have a higher propensity to end up depressed. People have a higher propensity to have some sort of mental health dilemma or issue because of their diagnosis and what they have to deal with on a daily basis. And I'll be real, the burnout is absolutely real. It's absolutely real. And it can be absolutely brutal. Think about it. You are with this condition 24/7, 365, no days off, no rest, no vacation, nothing, for as long as you live. That's a really long time, and you don't get paid for it. There's no reward except for that, hey, I don't feel like crap. And the novelty can kind of wear off after a little while. And by a little while, I mean maybe about 3 days. I remember even back when I was 9 years old, I was maybe a year and a half into my diagnosis. And I remember being so sick of it. I remember testing my blood sugar at some point, and my blood sugar was likely high. And I was just, I'm over it. I'm done. This is stupid. I hate this. Why do I have to deal with this anymore? None of my friends have to deal with this. Why me? Why does it have to? And you can ask yourself those questions as many times as you want, again and again and again and again, but it doesn't make it any different or any better. And what I want to challenge you with right now is asking yourself, do you feel cursed? Do you feel like type 1 diabetes is a curse, that you have been hexed, or the universe hates you, or something has happened where now you are officially cursed and you have to deal with this and it's not fair and life sucks and everything's horrible and I can never be happy again? I hope the answer to that is no, I do not feel cursed. But in the event that you do, think about it, right? There are people that you always hear, actually, before I get into that, you always hear of the people who try to ask the dumb questions to people living with diabetes, and they'll say, well, at least you don't have cancer. My grandma had their foot chopped off, or whatever it might be. But you always get well, it could be worse. It could be cancer. It could be something else. And absolutely, it could be. But I think the thing to do first is just reframe it as, how can you view it as a blessing? And how can you view it as the best thing that has ever happened to you in your entire life, to a point where you've accepted it? But also, how can you make diabetes the best thing that's ever happened? Can you even name right now 3 things off the top of your head that you are thankful to diabetes for? I'll go first. 1, I am way more in tune with my health than I would have probably been otherwise. And one could argue, well, you probably would have paid attention and you've been training and all that. It doesn't matter. I'm way more in tune with what I put in my body because of the diabetes. I'm way more in tune with getting my physical activity in. I'm way more in tune with getting enough sleep. These basic foundational things, I'm way better than as a result. I'm way better at as a result of dealing with the diabetes every single day. Second thing, with diabetes being, a great thing, is the adversity, the challenges has made me way tougher than I have ever imagined being, because you have to go through so much. There's so many things that diabetes may be a challenge for. Maybe you have to give a presentation and your blood sugar's shooting up because of your anxiety and your nerves around public speaking. And you had to crush this presentation because your job or your career or your class grade or something depended on it. And you knocked it out of the park while not only having to deliver the actual, external presentation, but battling feeling like garbage the whole time. Or maybe it's something similar to what I talked about during my story, where I had to overcome this adversity of being cut from these travel baseball teams at the young age of 12 and 13 and 14 because people viewed me as a medical liability. And I developed that chip on my shoulder, that adversity that I was able to battle through, this resiliency. Even something so small as, hey, I have accomplished blank while managing my blood sugars at the same time. You don't get a badge of honor for it, but it helps you become so much tougher because you don't just immediately go down the first sign of danger. You say, great, what else you got? How can I make this happen? Number 3, best thing that's ever happened because of diabetes. There are so many cool people that I would have never otherwise gotten a chance to meet if it weren't for living with diabetes. And, I could name. I mean, a couple easy names off the top of my head. I can name, Chris Rudin. I can name Rob Howe off the top of my head just because I've talked to them in the past couple days. Amazing human beings that I probably would have never gotten a chance to interact with or meet, given that they live in different places than I do, if it weren't for living with diabetes. And there are hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've had the pleasure and the awesome ability to be able to chat with and bond over something so, so deeply ingrained in all of us because of this condition. That is the key here, is you have to think about how you can make it the best thing ever, how you can take the positive from it and see it as this blessing, as this amazing, incredible opportunity to do good and then spread that good on to others. Diabetes sucks. It does. Don't get me wrong. I am not a huge fan. I hate when my blood sugar says, you know what, Ben, we're going to be a dick to you today and we're going to go to, 260 just because we can. Or, not so long ago, I had a blood sugar out of nowhere. Meal I had eaten 10 different times, 12 different times. Same meal, dosed it fine in the past. Eat the meal. For whatever reason, I decided to have my blood sugar. I didn't decide. My blood sugar decided to go down to about 30. Made no sense. Freaked out Amelia. But you know what? The resiliency to bounce back from that and being able to say, okay, this happened. I can respond to it calmly and move on with my life. That is huge. It's not going to necessarily be fun, but viewing yourself as cursed or depressed or sad, you get to decide what emotion, you want to attribute to your diabetes. The same way, if you look at your blood sugar, right? Let's take a look at this. Let's prime example. I just mentioned a 260 blood sugar. If I just said the number 260, you're thinking, okay, well, what's 260? What's the context? If I say, hey, I'm giving you $260, you're probably like, hell yeah, let's go. If I say, hey, the stove is 260 degrees, you're probably like, cool, don't care. If I tell you, hey man, your blood sugar is 260, you're like, oh my, that's the meaning you are choosing to give to it. You are choosing to give that meaning to that blood sugar, and you don't have to. You can literally choose to give it whatever meaning you want. And so I feel like when it comes to, can you be happy? You can live the most fulfilling, amazing life, impacting lives, helping people, making the world a better place, whether you have diabetes or whether you don't. But that is a choice. And you have the choice to decide, are you going to limit yourself? Are you going to be that person that's allowing diabetes to limit you? Or are you going to be that person that allows yourself to push through it and say, great, I've got this thing and I'm going to use this for good. I'm going to meet other people that have it. I'm going to make their lives better. I'm going to be stronger than ever. I'm going to be dialed in on my health. I'm going to feel incredible every single day. I'm going to do better than the people I know that don't live with diabetes every day. And I'm going to be so much stronger and more resilient and less likely to just say, nah, this didn't work out. I'm just going to quit on it. And I'm going to keep on pushing through every single solitary day. You have that choice. You also have the choice to say, screw it. I don't care. I'm done. And there are days where that is totally acceptable. But the key is, which end of the spectrum are you, and which one do you tend to do more? Are you more of a, F it, I'm done, this is stupid? Or hey, I'm going to kick ass and take names kind of thing? Because I would encourage you to try to shift towards the kick ass and take names side of things, because your life's going to be way more fulfilled. You're going to feel a hell of a lot better, and you're going to be doing way more of the life that you dream of than saying, hey, well, I'm just going to blow in whatever direction life takes me, the wind's going to take me, because it doesn't do anything. It's like the Katy Perry song, right? The do you ever feel like a plastic bag floating in the wind? I'm not going to go break into song for you, but plastic bag floating in the wind is kind of just getting pushed wherever the world decides it gets to go. You don't have to do that. You don't have to be pushed in the direction that diabetes is choosing for you to go with your blood sugar. You can take over and say, hey, this is my body. This is my blood sugars. I'm going to make a concerted decision to do the things that need to be done so I can feel good and I can live my life and I can stop being limited by it and I can go out into the world and do outdoor activities and exercise and get strong and lift weights and climb mountains and do any of the other millions of things that people are doing. There are people with diabetes that have been Olympians, been NFL players, ran ultra marathons, climbed mountains, climbed, I believe, Mount Everest even. There's a woman I know who's almost 70 years old who is climbing some of the most challenging mountains in the deserts of California in all sorts of weather. 70 years old. There are people half her age who can accomplish that. And this lady lives with type 1. It can be done. It is all just a matter of how you choose to view your diabetes. And if you choose to view it as, well, my life sucks, this is terrible, that's how your life is going to be. As cliche as that sounds, as corny as that sounds, it is 100% true. And if I'm you, I would advise you to try to shift it. Even if you have to fake it till you make it. And you've heard that phrase before and you might think that that's really derpy, but you know what? It does work, especially when you're feeling down in the dumps. Man, my numbers have sucked. Everything's terrible. I hate everything. Everything sucks. Diabetes is horrible. I hate it. Trick yourself out of it. That's how you do it. When you're feeling all down in the dumps, okay, cool. What can I do about it right now? Here's what I always tell people. I tell people the ARM. ARM is my acronym I made up for it, right? Acknowledge. What's my number now? I'm 245. Cool. I'm not actually 245. I don't know what I am. Let's find out. 142. There you go. I'm 142. Okay, acknowledge it, respond. What am I going to do about a 142 or a 245 or whatever number you are? Well, maybe there's a correction. Maybe there's a dose. Maybe there's a dose for food, whatever it is. Move on. Don't sit there and be like, I'm 142. I'm 142. What am I going to do? I got to wait for the next. No, you know what your number is. Move on. Live your life. Don't just sit there wondering what the next dot is going to be on the graph. That's not living either. That's just being obsessed with it. And that's a whole nother conversation. So recognize that you have the power to decide what you do with it. And diabetes does not have to run your world. You get to run your world. And if you choose to allow diabetes to be the co-pilot, that's where you can get into trouble. But if you choose to have diabetes to sit as a passenger in the back of the plane, not even in first class, just in the back of the plane, humming there, sitting, coexisting, living life, and you've got it on the back burner, doing its thing, you can keep your A1C in great control. You can eat amazing foods. You can go to restaurants. You can travel. You can do any outdoor activity. And you can be, most importantly with all of it, you can be fulfilled. You can be happy. You can love life while living with this condition. And you can love it every single solitary day. That is my rant/soapbox for you today. But recognize that. And in the moments where you're feeling weaker, you got to recognize, hey, I've got this. I can get myself out of this. Let's shift the mindset. Let's get my state happier. And let's burst through this nasty plateau and make things great for your blood sugars. Bring it back in where you're back in range, you're feeling great. Just do that one little thing to get you, that catalyst to get you back on track again. Life will be so much better. So yeah, there's my rant for you. I'll see you in the next episode. Definitely excited. And as always, let me know what topics do you want me to cover, what things are on your brain that you want me to dive into on a longer rant type thing like this. Drop a comment here. Let me know on social media. Happy to support however I can. And if you are somebody who's thinking, hey, really want to get in control of my blood sugars, I want to improve my relationship with diabetes and have that amazing control, live that unrestricted life, eat the food I want, get stronger, lose weight, my team and I are happy to help support you on that journey. We're all dietitians. We all live with diabetes ourselves, and we all have exercise backgrounds. So we are ready to help you. And we may even accept your health insurance. So if you want to learn more about that, shoot me a message over on the gram or send me a text, 813-649-3081. Send over the text blood sugar and I'll make sure that we get a chat going with you. So I'll catch you soon. And yeah, let's get it.